Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. We're working on the D100 again. Wheels on it. You'll notice I put the Dodge center caps on it. On the Johnny D Detroit steel wheels. I did a little more wet sanding on the paint to try and get somebody to put a bunch of primer on this truck. Here's the interior. Pardon my reading glasses. And right now, sniper screen, 5-speed shifter. You guys gotta watch previous videos. This is the 5-speed swap, Magnum 360. We're working on the gas pedal setup. Being this truck is a 1979, this would have had the gas pedal that pivoted off the floor. I hate that pedal. So I took a pedal from a 1993 Dodge Ram and popped this off the firewall of the 93. These two studs, spot welded through the firewall, and you mount the later style gas pedal that hangs from the firewall, doesn't pivot on the floor. Okay? I added this extra bolt right here. I tack welded that on because I had an extra hole down there on the firewall, if you can see. Then, I like the use of a factory air cleaner. Sniper FI. My problem was I wasn't getting full throttle. The gas pedal was too close to the floor inside the truck, that when you push down on the pedal, the pivot point would hit the floor before it was pulling the cable the whole way. By raising this in the firewall, I raise the pivot point. Now it pulls and gets full throttle for the sniper. Now when I pull the throttle, it goes the whole way back, cable feeds back into there, and boom, you have full throttle. I wasn't getting full throttle before. This is the setup with the Holley sniper distributor. The coil I mounted there. The ignition box I mounted there. I got rid of the ballast resistor. I ran my extra wires. See this yellow wire? I ran my extra wires through the blank spots on the bulkhead. So there's no extra wires coming through the firewall. There's only the wires coming through the factory bulkhead. These wires, I use the blank spot for the speed sensor and the tack signal. Go through two blank spots. I think the speed sensor's in this one. And the yellow here is the tack signal. Then that runs over to get the tack signal over here from the ignition box. I used Holley's power distribution module right here. Wired in the electric fan, which is right out here. That's why you see no mechanical fan on this truck. It's an electric fan out there. Used their PDM, wired everything into it. Wires run back to, I have to cover these, so I zip tied them, try to make the harness nice. Ignition box, coil, these run back and forth to the fuel pump. It's their tank and their deadheaded fuel pump, Holley's, in the truck. I used a factory style dipstick. I got rid of the external voltage regulator. I got rid of the external ignition module. I got rid of the ballast resistor. I did get the alternator swapped to an internally regulated alternator. They put an internal regulator on it. And then I just wired it in so that it activates. As soon as it starts to spin, it self-energizes and it goes. Factory plug wires. What else can I tell you? But anyway, to get the gas pedal right, I'm going to remount this in the firewall, in the holes. This sticks through the carpet, the shoulders. Then your gas pedal bolts to these two, and it holds it out away from the firewall, allows the pivot point out here, and then it pulls your throttle cable. People ask me, how am I going to put this on the firewall? I am going to glue it. Good old panel bond. Show you guys it's a structural adhesive. There it is, structural adhesive. Used to hold all the new cars together. Some guys, you old school guys, will tell me I'm crazy, and you should be welding that back on the firewall. To tell you the truth, I don't feel like burning the carpet. I don't feel like catching. I have some seam sealer down there to seal up the old holes. I don't feel like catching that stuff on fire. So I just spot welded this one in quick. This will just glue and bolt hard to the firewall with this nut. And I'm going to use some dummy nuts right now just to clamp it tight against the firewall till it dries. It's 15-minute panel bond. It'll hold great. I did put, as you can see, I reused the factory battery tray. I tried to do a nice job with the wires for my ground. My hot going over to feed the panel. Ground goes to the cylinder head. This goes over to starter relay. I do have an extra wire there that I was going to use for something else. Try to keep it as clean as possible. Hydraulic clutch. But that's it. I'm going to mount the gas pedal up a little higher, make sure I'm getting full throttle, and get this truck going back down the road. I had the new windshield put in when I did the flange around the windshield. I got to check to make sure I didn't skip a video in there somewhere on the build of this truck. Like, subscribe. If you want to see more videos on this truck and some of my other builds, I got another project coming up I got to show you. But I'm going to cruise this thing around and do some tuning on it. And I'll check my videos to make sure I got them all listed. All right, catch you later.